Hello everybody. In today's video, I'm going to do an achievement that I've been wanting to do for quite a while, and that achievement is Not One Step Back, which, if you don't know what that is, this achievement basically requires you to not lose a single core state, through occupation or otherwise, as the Soviet Union, until 1945. So, first off, I'm going to just stay with Stalinism for this campaign, and research is going to be pretty standard. In the beginning, focusing a lot more on industry and research speed, but later on we will focus on others. And we're going to build up infrastructure, build up civilian factories, and I kind of had some choice states selected that I wanted to have infrastructure built in so that we could get more resources and more factories. But mainly more resources because eventually we're probably going to want to do limited exports, mainly during World War II, not here at the beginning. And with my economy set up for probably the next few years, up until 1939, whenever we're going to start focusing more on military, I'm gonna, split up my army into one full army group, and then 18 divisions that I will have ready to deal with the, way later, but ready to deal with the Japanese whenever we eventually get the battle. I think it's Lake Kushan or something like that. But the first thing that we're going to have our army do is invade Romania and Turkey. So I'm going to have the main force of 120 divisions be on the border with Romania, and then the smaller army will just try to hold the line against Turkey, while obviously not losing any core states. And for production, I am going to try to kind of balance it, but eventually our production will be pretty Air Force heavy, and actually most of the factories will be on Air Force by like 1940. But for now, we're going to try to balance it so we can have good supply with trains being produced and trucks being produced and, more guns and stuff like that. Pretty basic. And of course, trading for resources. And I'm going to also put max dockyards on all of these build orders for ships, just so we can get out of the way and start building some convoys or something like that. That will kind of just give us a continuous benefit with our dockyards. And now it is time for me to finally start the game. So after the first focus, I'm going to start justifying on Turkey. And we're going to start going down the center, which will lead us down the Purge focuses. But now it's time to justify our war goal on Turkey with our 50 political power. And this will also call out Romania in. And now begins the Purge. And I'm also going to switch over to free trade, just because it's better. We're going to also secure the administration, do socialism in one country, that kind of stuff, until we can do the next Purge focus. Then we can actually switch over to war economy pretty early on. And now our war goal with Turkey has finished, so I'm going to declare war, and this gets Romania to join, and we can very, very quickly wipe Romania out, just with the fact that we have way more troops and we have air superiority. And we will keep doing the Purge. And after Romania finally capitulates, I am going to puppet them. And that's really about it with what we're going to do with Romania. We just kind of want them as a buffer state to prevent the Axis from having a larger front line against us. And I'm also going to do a naval invasion order of northern Turkey. And, of course, I also sent my army over to, my full army, over to the border with Turkey, switched over to London conscription, and even though we lost that one victory point in Armenia, it wasn't enough for that state to be considered flipped over to Turkey, so we're still able to do the siege already. The naval invasion in Turkey goes pretty well, kind of as expected. They don't really have enough divisions in the beginning to deal with, like 138 divisions, so they're not able to effectively protect everything. Now onto centralization and discipline, and we have finally defeated Turkey, and this will be the same thing that we did with Romania. We're just going to puppet them, again, as a buffer state. So, with Turkey and Romania puppeted, we are ready to just kind of sit dormant for a while we finish off the Purge and build up our economy. Speaking of economy, we're going to take a little bit of a stability hit though, because I forgot about that. And basically, if you're not at war and you do the war economy focus, you will lose stability. And so I forgot to continue the war for a little bit longer. We're also going to make an agency which will build up a collaborationist government in Germany very early on. But before we get to that, I'm going to finish off the Purge and start going down the focuses for the Baltics and Finland. And I decided to do Baltic self-determination instead of the usual claims in the Baltics, and honestly, I wish I just did claims in the Baltics, because Baltic self-determination never really played out for us. I mean, I got them to join our faction, but not in the way that I wanted to. Maybe it doesn't work like this anymore, but in the older versions, you used to be able to puppet the Baltics if they turned communist, but for whatever reason they don't even turn communist anymore in the Baltics, even whenever later in the game their support was at like 100% communism in some of the countries, and they still weren't flipping. But anyways, Finland refuses to give us Karjala, so we just invade, and we're not going to go for the White Peace. I'm actually going to war with Finland so I can puppet them. And we're also going to start building up military factories, since it is almost 1939. And with the fall of Finland, I am going to take Karjala. Sorry for saying that wrong. And after you take Karjala, we are going to just puppet the rest of the country. Again, as a buffer state. A lot of the strategy really depends on getting the Germans and the rest of the Axis to only have a very small amount of land from which they can attack you from. Meaning that you don't need nearly as big of an army to hold them back. And we're going to keep doing some more economic focuses, and later on stuff like army rehabilitation, in order to prepare to fight the Axis. We're also going to sign the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, of course, because free land. I'm going to do cohesion first instead of the Cossack units, because I like to mainly use infantry. But we're just going to speed through a lot of the game. Also going to train a lot of divisions, around one full army group in a total. But first we're going to start with 72 and then do 48 later. But we're going to speed through a lot with this portion of the game because it's just me doing focuses over and over. And this is my airplane design for this campaign. It's, I think, pretty much the same one that I always use. It might be a little different, but it doesn't take a whole lot of research and stuff like that to get to it. I just like to show it because it's pretty useful in like 1943 up until like 1945 in the game. Sometimes the AI will be able to counter it by 1945, but a lot of times they are not able to. And here is the close air support template. The fighter template. And so basically this template for both of these planes gives them very high air defense, which the AI is usually unable to counter with their air attack, meaning that you just obliterate their air force. And we've also been doing defocuses to give us much better air force modifier, because in the beginning you get hit with a pretty bad modifier for your air force and your army. And these extra divisions that I am training will basically just be used to reinforce the front line in Poland. And of course, we're going to train even more. But after this, we really don't need any more divisions. And now, finally, we are in August 1941. Well, now September 1941. And Germany is starting to justify their war goal. And I'm just doing some, propaganda focuses in order to get some extra stability, because we had been lacking a little bit on stability this game. But now we're pretty good on it. But now that Germany has declared war, we're going to do desperate measures, and we're going to use our massive air force, which I built by putting, I think, around 50 factories on planes. And I had them do the shift-click training type thing. I think it's pilot exercises for Air Force, and had them do that until they got to elite. So they're quite a bit more experienced and stuff like that than the German Air Force is. So we're basically just able to sit there and grind, let the Germans grind their troops against our front line. And this is going to happen a few times. Casualty check, just kind of seeing how many casualties the Germans have taken. And already within the first few months of the war, they almost took 1 million casualties against us. And we're going to switch over to extensive conscription. Not that we really needed it, but the Germans are just going to take an insane amount of casualties. And now it's time to annex Tanatuva, which really won't do much, but hey, big font on the map, I guess. Well, bigger font is already pretty big. And another casualty check. This time, they are almost at 3 million casualties taken from us, which means we make up like 75% of the German casualties. Now it's finally been a year, we can do lessons of war, and after doing some of those military focuses that you get when desperate measures disappears, our military should be strong enough for us to actually start our offensive off on all of our troops. And this offensive will go pretty well. We've really worn down the Germans quite a lot in just a year of this game. Well, in just a year of fighting. And if you want to skip the time lapses and stuff like that, it's kind of showing how it goes. But, some people may prefer to not watch the time lapses. Timestamps in the description. As always, I'll probably have it at the beginning with a text card or something. But just reminding people later on in the video. I always put timestamps on these non-guide videos that are, or guide videos that are long, you know. And now we've done Glory of the Red Army. The Red Army modifier is basically just a positive modifier for us now. But before we even really fully restored the Red Army, we've already capitulated Hungary, and Germany is definitely on its way to being capitulated soon, because remember, we built a collaborationist government way in the beginning of the game, so it doesn't take much for them to capitulate to us. And I included the border with Bulgaria that Romania has, because we're strong enough and I'm confident enough that we can just quickly take out Bulgaria, even with this bigger border. And as you can see, Bulgaria just falls really quickly. However, our offensive kind of starts to stall a little bit, and the borders are being, well, the front line is being redrawn in a really weird way because of a rapid advance. And the main thing that is preventing my progress is Czechoslovakia. So I focused my air force on there, and reorganizing our army, just like letting them get back into place, we will activate the offensives again. And of course, I'm just going to do the bearing ball trade, or whatever it's called. The one that basically always shows up in Sweden. But we still lag a little bit behind in Czechoslovakia, but the rest of Germany starts to fall pretty quickly. And now Germany has capitulated, meaning that we just really have to focus on Italy, which won't be hard because Italy usually wears itself down a lot in this game. And also, because we built up a full collaborationist government, we can create a German puppet out of the German cores, and immediately have that land guaranteed for us. We don't even have to take it in the peace deal. It's just our puppet. And there's not much to say with Italy. They just get rolled over. They're not really able to fight the onslaught of both us and the allies going against them. And plus the civil war that starts. And I do have to do a little bit of micromanaging just to make sure that Italy isn't able to fortify the strait between mainland Italy and Sicily. And because I micromanage that, we deal with Italy way faster than we usually would have if we just let the battle plan do it. And so basically I just puppet like half of Europe in this peace deal. And now, because of the way that we puppeted Turkey and Romania as well, we don't actually have to worry about the allies going to war with us. But in the meantime, I'm going to finish the 4th 5-year plan and do the Comintern, which will basically just give us like 80% of our subjects' factories or something crazy like that. Basically, I just wanted a big factory count. And I'm also going to invade Latvia because they decided to become like a military dictatorship that think they pretty much like banned communism with a national focus, so they just decided, I'm bored waiting for 1945, so I'll just invade them, because nobody's going to guarantee them. And Latvia falls pretty quickly. Big shocker there. We're just gonna puppet them, because there's nothing else really to do. Could take the land, but I feel like that would just look kind of weird. And I tried to switch Norway over to communism, and if we had more time in the game, we probably could, and we could probably flip over Sweden, to be honest. But, you know, we've only got 5 months left in the game before we get the achievement. So I'm just gonna spam factories and get a high factory count. Probably could have had a higher factory count if I didn't do Baltic self-determination, but that's in the past. But now, with the turn of 1945, I get the achievement. Not a step back, which means we finished the goal for this video. And surprisingly, this achievement really wasn't as rare as I thought it was going to be. It's like, I think like 3% of players have it. Usually these types of achievements are like 1%, but hey, finally got this achievement, and I think it will make a pretty entertaining video. So if you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, and consider subscribing. All of those actions help the channel. And even if you don't want to do all that, just you watching helps support the channel. Thank you all, and I will see you all later.